I'm Annabelle Earth.
And I'm Andre Rodrigues.
And welcome to In5. And today we have our long-awaited Mother's Day special. So we've got these amazing women here today. Mel, Trish and Jerry, welcome to In5.
Thank you.
So you guys are all mothers of artists and a couple of you are artists yourselves. What's that like dealing with a bunch of artistic kids running around trying to make a name for themselves in Perth?
Busy?
Yeah.
Yeah, logistically challenging. Yeah,
Logistically challenging.
well, you've got 3 of them, Jerry.
Yeah.
I've got 3 and I run a drama group, so I also have all of those children as well. So it's been, logistically getting to rehearsals, learning lines, getting to auditions, and then also the shows. My own group, we tour around a lot, so...
Which drama group is this again?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I run the New City Theatre
The New City,
drama
that's right.
group
Yeah.
in Cannington.
That's the one that Hannah sits on the board as well, isn't it?
Correct.
She
My
said.
15-year-old is the youngest board member there, yes.
Alright.
And those 3, they're the Kepler trio, right? And they go on the couch and things like
Correct.
that as
So
well.
the Kepler Trio, they sing, and they've been doing that since about 8 years now on the TV show The Couch with Fred Mafrika, and my middle girl also writes and directs. She just published a book, so we've got all the marketing as well that we have to fit in.
Yeah.
And my oldest is the dancer, but she drives now, so she's
Okay.
17, so she drives. She just has to tell us where she's going. And then my baby's
Wow.
only 12.
Because her baby is only 12.
Oh yeah,
So,
the
yeah.
little one.
But she also acts and everything else. I'm currently doing at London Court next week. We're doing the Shakespeare Festival, my group.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
we're doing Midsummer Night's Dream throughout London Court.
Throughout London Court. That's the one in the city, isn't it? Is there an actual stage there? Or you're doing it along the
it's
actual street itself?
Street performing. We have to
nice.
get with
Okay.
people who are just walking past. So we've been there 2 nights so far with like 12 children and teenagers. They're not children now. I've run it for so long. They were children. And they're all in costume. They've done Midsummer Night's Dream before, so they know what they're doing. But it's the first time they're doing it with no stage and no blocking, and they can't. They don't have an audience. They just have to kind of guess where to go and go with the flow.
Oh, Shakespeare would be proud. I think that's how he did it to
sounds very
start with, so
interactive.
that'd be so cool. And what about your little ones? Are they doing anything at the moment?
My 2, yes. Nate's got a film coming up that we're just about getting ready to film over the next few weeks, and that's Me, Myself and Pie. So that's his next one. And
That's what he did say when he was here the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, myself, I.
Oh,
Yeah.
those 2 were so funny.
yeah, they're a bit of fun. And Grace she's just done Deaf and the Little Girl, and she has another one that she's getting prepared for. That's coming up probably in a few months' time. So, and who knows what comes up in between. There's always something that someone calls them up for, to do a job in between, and just get them there and get them set, get them fed, and get them organised, and drive them there basically. So
Yeah.
and that, but pretty exciting with what they're doing at the moment. The work that they have been doing. It's a better quality of work. And they seem to be really enjoying where they're at the moment with their acting, and even with their auditions, they're really enjoying the scripts that are coming through, and so it's a bit of fun.
Did you ever expect that you'd get 2 kids just jumping right into the acting industry? Because you were an artist yourself, so they're going to be exposed already, but you haven't done any of the arts, have you?
No.
So
Unless you call karaoke, singing karaoke.
It depends. Are you any good?
Yeah.
No.
You can't be worse than me. I promise you that.
So no, I did not expect Nate to start acting, and I was actually really scared for him to do anything like that because he actually has dyslexia. So learning scripts and that, from his point of view, or from my point of view, was an absolute nightmare. Whereas Grace, she can learn and she can retain information, whereas Nate needs a little bit more work. He gets there, but it's just that starting off was just so hard for him, and I thought, this industry it's tough enough as it is. How's this kid ever going to survive? And he does. He absolutely loves acting, and he actually remembers the scripts most of the time. Or he improvs.
He was quite good on Death and the Little Girl when we were with him. Both Grace and Nate were really excellent to work with.
He
Enjoyed working with him.
loves being around film crew. So my sort of idea early on in the piece was, even if he doesn't become an actor, he can be in an industry where he can work as, you know, crew later on, because having dyslexia makes it so difficult, you know, through school. And so it was just one of those different outlets to look at him to say, hey, look, there are different opportunities. You know, you're not stuck because of the dyslexia. There's other things that you can do outside of normal traditional work. And yeah, he just loves. He'll grab a camera and, you know, he'll be a clapper girl if he gets asked to be. And you know, he seems to like soundies, which is a bit of a worry. He's got their same sort of sad sense of humour.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it was just a matter of getting involved in the industry so that there is more opportunities for him later on as he gets older. And yeah, who knows where they end up, those two. It's just fun, you know. Yeah,
It's fun, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Every dull moment.
No.
And Melanie, we had some good news about Angelina.
Yes.
Yes, and
Getting
she was
that-
on the show with you a few weeks ago.
She was.
She got the lead role in her first feature film, so very excited.
Fantastic.
Very aware of the responsibility at this point, because they've just done some promotional shots the other day. It's a film called Cherub Head.
Okay.
By a company called, if I can pronounce it right, Philandeo,
Yeah.
is how you pronounce it, Philandeo Films. And they start proper filming very long days from Tuesday right through to sort of late May at this point, and then I'm not sure what happens after that, but it's going to be really great because the director, Sarah Legg, she wrote the script as well, so it's a little bit like Get a Job, You Bum with Steve, directing and wrote, and it's a really intelligently written script. Like, it's really impressive, so I've got a sneaking feeling that it's going to be pulled together really nicely. So
right.
yeah, she had some shots the other day which I put up on Facebook with the rat. So her character plays a sort of about 13-year-old orphan who comes to stay in this house with her pet rat Boris. So,
Boris,
yeah,
what a name
so
for
trying to get these photos the other day, we made sure the rat didn't take off because it wasn't used to being held.
Oh, there's actually
an actual rat.
Oh
Yeah.
dear,
Yeah.
did she handle that well? Or
Yeah, she
sit
loved
there?
it. Loved it. Yeah, had pet mice when she was a toddler.
Oh goodness.
They didn't last all that long, but
No.
hopefully Boris lasts long enough.
Oh goodness.
Last till the end of the film.
Yeah.
Is this one of the films that, because I think Screen West earlier in the year said they were going to back 8 movies. Is this one of them?
I don't think so, but I
No?
don't know. It
Okay.
could be a story more than I'm aware of. But I was just thinking, because Jerry's got 3 kids performing, you've got 2. I've only got the one.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Relatively speaking, my life's probably calmer in mumaging. But then Angie does singing and, you know, plays piano and songwriting, and so I'm all sort of probably kind of feel like I'm doing 2 kids. Of coordinating,
Mm.
and you know, mumaging means marketing as well, because you've got to get the gigs, get the auditions,
Yes.
join the Facebook groups, you know, do the networking, keep your ear to the ground about what's out there,
And you work full time as well. All 3 of you do
Yeah.
work
I
full
don't
time.
work full-time.
Oh, you don't?
I work 3 days a week
Wow,
in
so
marketing,
close
so it
enough.
comes naturally
Yeah.
to be a marketing my
Okay.
child.
So do you guys get a little bit of a cut when the kids get paid? Because you're basically their agents,
Yeah.
effectively.
Yeah. Well, I said I want to be mentioned in your Oscars speech,
Yeah, that's what
you
I
know.
told them to.
Yeah, that's
Whichever
my
one
payback.
would be.
I just want a new car.
And you, expectations not very high there, just a new car.
They can get me a new car later on, because of the amount of Ks that we've put on. You know,
Oh,
my
Mm.
car is just ridiculous since I
I'm
started
sure.
acting. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, as long
Would-
as they have.
Angie paid her own way to you know, that Old Land's Tale song that's being released soon, still not released, but
Yeah.
she paid for that recording studio day out of her acting earnings.
Okay.
So
Wow.
we're not getting a cut, but she's helping fund some of it with money she's already made, which I think is really, really nice and shows a kind of commitment to the craft.
It does.
Yeah, my
Yes.
girls do that too.
That's so good.
So my eldest does a lot of ballet and modelling, and she then pays for the lessons that come with it. And my middle one has published a book, and that then pays for her song that she's also written.
Yeah.
She wrote the theme song for Odd Ones Out.
Yeah.
So she's
Which is so good. Your kids are so responsible. My son went and bought a pink Steven Universe jacket, like for $300 from the US with his first paycheck. Like, what are you gonna do with a pink Steven Universe jacket? Steven Universe is a kid's character, cartoon. and he's 20. Yeah, it's for Zachary, my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
Nate
son.
just buys Roblox. So
Ah.
that's
Yeah.
what he does. He's
Very
like, how much
important.
should I get, Mum? Oh yeah, okay, I'm going to go and he buys Roblox.
Yeah.
And Grace is saving up for a phone at the moment, so that's her next thing that she wants. So and she's got enough there, but she's waiting for the sales because she's a real budget. So she's waiting, watching
Good
the
skill.
price coming down.
Oh, nice. She's
Oh.
frugal as well.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
it's good.
No, she's very, very, she wants me to buy it, and I said no because you smashed the last one I got. So yeah, she's working to pay for that at the moment.
With all your kids, what was the major influence for them to go into what they're doing now in terms of whether it's writing, singing, or acting? Did you push them into it, or did they pick it up and then you just supported them along the way?
Oh, they're like, no.
My eldest daughter started with the dancing.
Mhm.
From the time she was a toddler, she just used to say, I want ballet. So we put her into ballet lessons. My middle daughter was just an actress from the start and just sang from the time she was tiny. She also has some quite severe health issues, which saw her hospitalised a lot when she was little.
Yeah.
And to counter her feelings of self-worth, I got her to write. I didn't think it was going to take off the way it did,
Mhm.
but when she was 9 years old and she was in hospital a lot, I got her to write a script. And when I read the script, a couple of years later, I was like quite taken with it. We had a lull in our theatre group and I put it up. We actually performed it with a cast of 14 children and it got picked up. And we toured WA at the age of 11 with 14 children in 2 cars.
Oh, you're
We
brave.
stayed in people's houses, 14 children all sleeping in like one room. They had a ball, they still talk about it because they're now all aged 15 to 17 and they're still a group. But they all remember that. And so it kind of took off from there. And the singing, they sang for fun as the Kepler Trio. Fred and Rodrigues saw them and asked them to come onto the couch when they were just 9, 7 and 4. And they've been doing it with Fred on his show ever since. And now my middle one, the one who was sick, has ended up, she's become a songwriter. So she's written a number of songs.
Yeah.
And she's actually published the book. She's written a couple of plays. And we did that because we wanted her to be able to do something because her health at that stage wasn't really holding up.
Mm.
And she took to this, and she's also acts. She directed A Midsummer Night's Dream when she was 13, and she plays the role of Puck, and she's doing that again now 2 years later. And now another theatre group outside of mine has asked her to direct, and she's directing James and the Giant Peach, the school holidays.
I think I saw that on her profile, Instagram profile.
Probably.
Yeah.
And her little sister is one of the actors in it. So that's how we started. And I'm a writer, so it kind of just, we try to help her doing what we knew how to do. Dad likes the music and I like the writing. We were just boosting them and they went from there. We did not think they were going to become this, but yeah, and all three would like to follow this as their career path. So
That's good.
Well, they're already pretty damn impressive from the sounds of things. Doing better than I was when I was a kid. I sound like a drowning cat when I try to sing. Did not go well.
Trish, how about Nate and Grace?
Grace wanted to be a weather girl. So
Oh,
Yes, I remember that.
how that came about was I saw an ad on Facebook and it was learning how to work on TV and become a TV star or a movie star and I was like, yeah, okay, well I'll just email through and get some information. And they said, oh, can you send us a photo and a little bit about your daughter or whatever. So I took a photo of Grace and said, this is Grace, yada yada. And she got offered to audition, and that was for a group called NFTA, which was New Faces Talent Academy. So we turned up to this auditorium. It was one of the big Perth hotels, and there was hundreds of kids there, and I was like, because I've never done anything, I was like, what's going on here? Okay, Grace, just learn your lines, and because she'd been sent through a script that was in the advert or something that she had to do a commercial, and that's all we knew was that she had to do these lines. And she auditioned for one of the heads of the group, and we didn't even know he was one of the managers at that stage. And Nate was swinging under the chair as Grace was auditioning with these two people.
As you do, you know, being
Yeah.
a younger brother, yeah.
And she got accepted, so it was just, it was like, oh, she can go and do, I think it was a 6-8 week course. And from the first day, she's just like, I love this, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And was spent about 2 years from there, and Nate was still too young at that stage because he was only about 5 or 6 or something. So he'd, whilst I'd be waiting for Grace to do her workshops and that, Nate would be swinging off a chair or climbing up and down the staircase at the Parmelia Hilton Hotel. And Grace just went from there. So it was just a matter of applying for jobs, and I was lucky. I actually had some great mums that said, oh, there's a few things that you have to do. You've got to get a star now account, and you've got to do this. You've got to get an agent, and this huge thing. Oh, get an agent for the kids, and there was sort of quite a bit of pressure because I didn't know what to do or what lines to follow or who to go to, and it took a little while. But I was lucky. I had some great mums actually that sort of went, hey, you've got to do this, you'll do that, and they steered me in the right direction, which put me on the right track, I think, to help manage Grace right from sort of word go. And then Grace was auditioning for a part for another film, and because I'm a FIFO mum, so quite often Nate being the age he was at that stage, I had to take him to auditions when Grace was auditioning. And two of the directors saw Nate swinging on the chair again whilst Grace was auditioning. And she actually said, hey, does he act? And I'm like, yeah, he acts up. and she's like, no, serious, Trish, like, is he an actor? I said, no. I said, absolutely no, because I knew about the dyslexia, and I said, look, I don't think he'd have the capabilities of remembering his lines, and he's not like Grace. He can't do what she does. And this lady in that, she said, no, I'm serious. She said, he's got a look. She said, I was like, yeah, I know what look that is. And she said, no, put him forward. She said, people want to work with him, they'll work with him. She said, don't feel embarrassed or be scared of the fact that he's got dyslexia. Put him forward and see where you go. And so I sort of went, oh, okay, thank you so much, not thinking anything of it. And then a film part came up for, it was an SAE film, student film, and they wanted a little boy about 6 to 8 or something. And I sort of said, hey mate, do you want to go and do what your sister does? Do you want to try acting and everything? And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. And I said, well, you don't have to do it. If you don't want to do it, I'll pull you out, but do you want to go and have a go? At least have a try. He's like, yeah. So we went along, met the directors and producers and stuff, and charmed the pants off them and got the part. And that was where it started. So he spent, I think it was about 4 or 5 days on set. They were long filming days as well. Because student films, you normally film longer and eat pizza and jelly snakes to keep you going on set. And he actually said to the director, you know what, I think I'm an actor. And the directors were like, yes, I think you might be, mate. And so that's where it started, and he's been working just as much, and sometimes more, than Grace. So they tend to, I have to juggle both of them, because one of them's doing one thing, the other's doing the other, and so...
There's less boys in this space, isn't there, as well, so...
Yeah, and he looks like a larrikin, so he gets a lot of the naughty boy parts. So.
Typecast. I know how that feels.
Yeah, he likes the bad boy parts and the dead boy parts. He likes playing the dead kid.
So just lies there for the day, and then that's me done.
He likes the horror, the makeup, and the guts, and that's his. Yeah,
that's always really fun.
He likes the creepy stuff. Night does so.
And Mel, how about Angelina?
Oh yeah, I was just thinking while Trish was talking, what's my story? Yeah. So actually it was that Angie she sang from before she could actually form words. So she was always humming along in the car and singing like the harmony to the Disney princess songs and stuff like that.
That's
so
cute.
We knew at a young age that she was going to be a good singer. And then when she was in pre-primary, I think, I asked around, what do I do with a kid who can sing? Where do I take her for, what should I do to help her? And a few people said, try Australian Girls Choir. So she's been, 9 years with Australian Girls Choir. Yeah. She's in the performing choir now. But when we went to one of the concerts, and she had a solo at 8, I think, at the Perth Concert Hall in front of 1,000 people. And it was beautiful, and one of the Australian Girls Choir tutors came up to me at the end of it and said, you've got to put her in Eisteddfods and singing competitions, she's got so much potential. So I started getting separate lessons with her, and she trained her up for some of the Eisteddfods. And then it was there that someone else from Australian Girls Choir came up to me and said, she's amazing, you need to get her into, join up all these Facebook audition groups. So that was the first time I'd ever heard of that. I don't think I was even on Facebook at that point, so it's a bit of a learning curve. And then, so then one of those Facebook audition groups was asking for a family of 4 that fit our description for a TV ad. And I sent through a photo that we had taken the week before. They rang me within half an hour, took the ad straight down. And so it was really only up for about half an hour, and we, as a family, were picked as the family for this ad.
Nice.
And all 3, like Georgia, Angie's got a twin, Georgia, and she and my husband and I all ended up on the editing room floor while Angie was front and centre in this ad. And they really were impressed with her, because she was like 8 hours sitting there trying to do like surprise look, and let's try this way. And again, the lighting, and it was Christmas lights for City of Perth. And so because of that, they said, you need to get her an agent, she's really suited for this industry. So they introduced me to Now Actors, and they signed Angie up literally the next day, and kind of the rest is history, because I thought I'm aware enough, being in marketing, I don't know anything about acting and the music industry. I know a lot more now, but I thought, I'm pretty sure it's hard to get an agent, and you're 8 and you've got an agent, let's try and do something with this. So started looking at acting. Didn't do a lot of training, but just started getting roles. And the more you work, the better your acting gets.
That's true.
And so she's continued singing and performing, and songwriting. Obviously, that she's been up for Song of the Year the last 2 years. So she still does songwriting in her limited downtime, and a lot of busking gigs. She's now getting asked to do professional gigs, so that's really nice.
That's incredible.
Getting paid to quite good money for not that long, but there's an awful lot of preparation that goes into getting your set list right, and keeping your craft honed. So she's sort of got this double life of a musician and an actor. But it seems to be a really handy thing, because I've seen so many movies now where somebody who's been on the screen for 20 or 30 years starts breaking out in song, and you're like, oh my God, they can sing too. They all seem to, it seems really like a really handy skill to have, and I think it works kind of hand in hand. But Angie's twin sister, so I've got 2 kids, and her name's Georgia, and she's an amazing artist. But not wanting to be a performer at all. So part of me as a mumager was like, the 2 kids in certain roles on set, they look, not identical at all, but they're quite similar looking, and I thought that would have been a nice, neat little package. But yeah, she's not, she doesn't want to be in front of the camera. She's very, still arty like Angie, but not so much performing arts, more like visual arts and technology and stuff like that. So my mumaging is also trying to make sure I don't put all my focus on Angelina, which from a public perspective it probably looks like that because I'm always posting stuff on Facebook, but at home Georgia rules the roost at home. Doing sister
I love how you
rules
joined the word mumaging.
Mummager, oh yeah.
Like when you first said like, wait, hang on.
We're all mummagers, aren't we? Yeah.
Is this like a word that's been going on for a
Yeah.
while?
Yeah,
Really?
so.
That's
I thought I
actually a
invented
thing?
it, but then I've seen it
No?
written.
Oh, right.
I think it started with the Kardashians, because they used to call her the mummager. And
Oh.
Right. Okay, I get it.
And the other word is the moober.
The
I've
moober.
heard that one.
Ma moober, yeah.
Yes. So that's the other one. When you're driving them around everywhere, you're the moober.
Yeah.
And then what's it called when the dad does the driving?
Duba?
Oh no!
Although Angelina calls Dad Dadager sometimes.
yeah,
Dad-
same here. The
Dadager.
girls say Dadager.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he drives them as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mine tends to steer clear. He does drive them occasionally if he's home, but he misses a lot of that. So
Yeah.
I'm a full-time drama teacher, so I can't take time off if they have things during the day, and he does. So he does. They call him the Dadager.
At least you're doing that. My mother was like, did it once. No, I'm done now. Figure it out. Don't know how you're going to do it, but you'll be fine.
It is interesting because this industry is not known for an easy one to make a professional living
No.
out of, and in Perth. So part of me's been like, what are you doing encouraging this? Because all she's going to do is have to leave Perth,
I know.
that we're going to lose her, But my husband and I are like, well, we'll just go too.
Yeah, why not?
You know,
Go along for the ride.
Nice and fancy free.
I'm sure she'll love that. We're so happy.
Yeah, at some point. So I'm planning for my own redundancy. That's
We all do as the mums. We
Yeah.
plan for our own redundancy.
we need to become redundant.
Yeah.
So when they hit that sort of
Yeah.
age where they can handle their own and sort of getting gigs, you know, Star Now was helpful in the beginning to sort of get out there. But, you know, finding audition opportunities and gigs and keeping in touch with what's going on, and you know, it's a little bit of networking even online, like, you know, follow Andre and yourself, and you realise that we all know people in common, and your network just grows, and you know, social media is a big part of it at times, keeping things looking sort of professional and growing your network. They can do all of that sort of. Angie's really, I'm sort of handing over stuff like that now, just gradually, because she wants to know what's being posted. And she'll do it now instead, and I'll just check that it's okay, and we both kind of co-manage her.
And eventually you can just relax.
Yeah, I'm finding even now on set I'm sort of redundant because people, you know, she speaks so clearly and maturely about her character, and the director's asking, how do you think this? How do you want to play this bit? What do you think about this scene or this, you know, emotion? Once upon a time, that conversation would have been had with me, and she would have been sitting with me, but now it's completely her, so I'm sort of increasingly stepping back.
And I think I've got the oldest out. My eldest, I think, is the oldest out of our. Like, and she's 17. I don't even know sometimes what she's doing. She'll just tell me, because she drives. She has her own car.
Yeah.
And all the contacts she made as a child, she still has. So she'll go off and say, "Oh, I've done this, and I'm doing this, and so's asked me to do this." Or my favourite, I see it on Instagram. Oh, that's where she is. She really has taken it on herself, and I think growing up in the industry, they do become mature very quickly. I've got a 15-year-old who does business meetings from the backseat of the car. A 17-year-old who's like, "Oh, this is my itinerary, Mum. So if you need me, don't ring me at these times because I'm being an interview, I'm dancing, or all three of mine are classical singers. You know, I've got a gig, so we're not here." She now takes her sisters places because they perform as the Kepler Trio. She's like, "Mum, we're doing this. It's okay. You just tell us where whatever it is they need. I'm taking them. I'm going to drive them here. Don't expect us to make this thing because we're doing this." And it is, but it is sad too. Like you're saying, as you step away, we're seeing it a lot with our 17-year-old. It's like. Amy Rhodes is like, oh, she's taking more and more on, and Hannah Jade, as I said, she runs business meetings from the backseat of the car and has been since she was 12. And then Eloise goes along for the rest. She's liking the film side of things, and she's quite comedic, and we're like, oh, and her sister does a lot with her because, as I said, I work full time, so it's like, oh.
Okay.
They're off on their way now.
It's happy and sad, as you were saying, watching that.
Yeah, you sort of feel proud, but then, you know, you feel a little bit of like, well, I'm also a control freak, so
So am I.
You
have
still
to
got
make
more time.
relinquish control.
I've always just tended to like be a control freak in the background, like to get them there and, you know, get costumes and things. But when it came to being on set, I've let the kids be.
Yeah, you're very good at
themselves.
going
I'm
on
like,
background.
I'm off. I'm going to go and play Pokemon or play my game, drink coffee, and that's always been their job. So, you know, we have this separate. They know what my job is, and that's to get them the gigs and get them there and get them organised. And then from the time that we arrive, it's their job, and they know what they're doing. And you know, they actually teach me a lot, like you know, camera shots and lighting and all that sort of stuff. And I just sit in the background and listen, and I enjoy watching that side of the industry.
Well, I think we're getting the wrap-up signal from the director. Are there any final parting comments you'd like to give to maybe mothers that may be watching this, whether or not they should put their kids through what you're going through, or whether they should? Yeah.
We should have found the worst enemy.
Yeah.
I really think if it doesn't sort of naturally evolve,
Exactly.
I wouldn't be pushing it.
Yeah,
because
push it.
I think all
They have
three
to
of us
love it.
it sort of fell into place, and the pattern became clear after the fact, as opposed to a decision we made. We're going to make little Johnny famous or something, you know.
Exactly.
It's not that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Melanie, Trish, and Jerry, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time out. And make sure you call your mothers and wish them happy Mother's Day as well. I'm Andre Rodrigues,
And I'm Annabelle Earth.
and this is In 5.
Bye, guys.